Here are the weird things women find attractive in a man. It is often said that love has no age, but size is very important to women. The proof is in this Dutch study conducted by researchers from the University of Groningen. They analyzed data from parents of 19,000 babies born in the United Kingdom in 2000. The result? In more than 9 out of 10 couples, the man was taller than his wife. The average height difference between the two was about 14 centimeters. As for the men, they would also have a predilection for the size of their partner. According to the criteria of these gentlemen, 1.65 m would be an ideal size for a woman. But that's not all. A completely different study, conducted jointly by Rice University and North Texas University, also shows that women feel more protected with a partner who is taller than they are. According to the authors of this study, the male ability to offer physical protection is clearly related to the stereotype of the protective man. And as a cliché never comes alone, they also added that, in a society that encourages men to be dominant and women to be submissive, the image of tall men overcoming short women reinforces this conception. In this regard, Viren Swamy, social psychologist at University of Westminster, also assured that tall men are considered more masculine, while tall women transgress the norms. However, there is also a biological explanation for the differences in height, since previous studies have shown that tall men are more likely to marry and tend to have more children than shorter men. In any case, if these results certainly do not apply to everyone, they are nevertheless surprising. Some men with an unattractive physique are often real seducers. The reason? Well, they are simply creative. Indeed, a man who knows how to cook, play music, or even paint will tend to have a real success with women. This is what a study conducted by British psychologists says. They asked volunteers to rate their attraction to 8 men and women whose photos they had. Some had to give their judgment on purely physical criteria, while others had information on the level of creativity of the photographed people. Finally, the ugly ones, let's call a spade, were perceived as attractive by the women if they had qualities of imagination and creativity. Unfortunately for the women, creativity or not, it is the physical appearance that counts. It is therefore the beautiful women who were judged the most attractive in the eyes of men. One of the authors of the study stated that men with unattractive faces were almost as attractive as men who were very attractive but less creative, while creative women with unattractive faces seem to be penalized. So, if a man is not as handsome as Apollo and built like Hercules, maybe he should take up the flute to please women. If hipsters have made the aesthetic choice to wear a beard, did they not know that they would also be preferred by women? Of course, not all men in relationships are bearded. Nevertheless, a very serious study conducted by the University of Queensland, Australia, and published in the Journal of Evolutionary Biology has established that most women prefer bearded men. To reach this conclusion, 8,520 women observed and scored photos of male faces that had varying degrees of hair growth. The faces were also manipulated to make them more masculine or more feminine, and the result was clear. For short-term relationships, women prefer men with square faces and a 3-day beard. When it comes to selecting a man for a long-term relationship, the fuller the beard, the better. And this is true regardless of other facial features. But then, why are women attracted to this hair accessory, you might ask? One could say that it is an aesthetic choice because the beard emphasizes the square jaws, or on the contrary, hides the small defects. Except that there is usually a completely different explanation. According to scientists, this is due to the fact that the beard would give a protective and responsible air to these men, and that it would reassure women of their fertility. Barnaby Dixon, a researcher at the School of Psychology at the University of Queensland in Australia, even claimed that the beard is a sign of intrasexual dominance, intended to inform women of the strong presence of male hormones, which, let's face it, is quite amazing. If couples with an older woman do exist, it is mainly those where the woman is younger who are dominant. The reason? Well, young women simply prefer older men. A study by the very serious Institut National d'Études Démographiques has looked into the matter. By analyzing the data of 400,000 profiles of users of the dating site Meetic, the study showed that these ladies imagine themselves rather little with a younger man. Should we deduce that gray temples and crow's feet are as attractive as concrete abs? Not quite. In fact, this preference is explained by the fact that older men tend to be more mature and provide a certain stability. Anyway, one thing is sure, this attraction is mutual. This is what Madeleine Fougère, professor and author of the book The Social Psychology of Attraction and Romantic Relationships, said. She said that research in this area shows that not only are younger women attracted to older men, but that older men are also attracted to younger women, which is a practical situation for heterosexual couples. So we must believe that love has no age. When it comes to seduction, we may talk about the famous inner beauty, but it is indeed the physical attractiveness that attracts attention first. This is quite normal. However, there is no need to necessarily look like a movie star, because indeed, many women are attracted mainly by the charisma of men, and it is not without reason. This kind of aura that surrounds a man rarely goes unnoticed. But then, what exactly defines a charismatic man? In fact, it is a whole set of things, in the behavior and way of being, character and values that make a man is considered as such. Thus, by their self-confidence, their personality, but also by their ability to seduce without the slightest effort, charismatic men attract quite easily the attention, especially that of women. A quality sometimes compared to social intelligence, which can be very useful when it comes to being noticed by a woman. To be seductive, isn't this what every man tries to become when he studies the relational field and the one of seduction? Certainly. However, one question remains. Are women really attracted to men who are too masculine, as we tend to imagine? To find out, a study led by Dr. Coetzee from the University of Pretoria in South Africa tried to determine the criteria of physical attraction between men and women. The researchers selected a group of women who were in the fertile period of the reproductive cycle. They were asked to evaluate photos of men's faces or bodies of varying sizes and to rate their physical attractiveness. Conclusion? The majority of women found more attractive men who were neither too fat nor too thin, and certainly not those who were the most virile. It is the dictatorship of the big muscles, the square jaw, or the dark look definitely behind us? According to the results of this study, the main characteristic that attracts the eye of women about to choose a partner seems to be men with a normal waistline, that is to say, those with the most developed immune system. This, for some, might suggest that the unconscious choice of partner is made primarily on the basis of his supposed ability to produce healthy children. However, this is yet to be proven. What if humor and love go hand in hand? If we believe the experiment carried out by Jeffrey Hall, professor of communication at the University of Kansas, women would be, in any case, more attracted to funny men, and he is not the only one to think so. In fact, a completely different study conducted by researchers at Stanford University revealed that women are even genetically programmed to fall for the charms of men with a sense of humor. To prove it, these scientists made 22 children, composed of 13 girls and 9 boys, aged 6 to 13, watch funny, positive, or neutral videos. Finally, medical imaging performed during the viewing showed that the girls' brains had higher activity in front of the humorous videos. Our data revealed, for the first time, that sex differences in the appreciation of humor already exist in young children, said the researchers of the study. They added, if women are biologically receptive to humor, they would prefer to choose a partner who makes them laugh as a potential father of their children. Humor is probably very important to attract a woman. For most women, the ability to listen is generally a criterion of choice. A quality that is, however, very rare if we believe a study conducted by the betting site Ladbrokes on 2,000 British men. The study states that men are unable to listen to a woman talk for more than 6 minutes, unless of course she brings up topics that will keep his concentration for 15 minutes. In this case, it will be necessary to talk about sports and more particularly soccer, a cliché that, let's face it, can surprise many people and that can sometimes lead to a certain frustration for women. It is therefore better to improve your listening skills to seduce your partner. After all, in adulthood, concentration time is usually between 20 and 40 minutes. Thus, it is theoretically possible to listen to a woman for much longer than this study suggests. The choice of a partner is not only based on physical appearance. It also depends on social and intellectual affinities. But it turns out that this choice is also based on the nose. Indeed, the smell that a man gives off seems to be as important as these last criteria when a woman tries to choose her love partner. A study conducted by a group of researchers and published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences has shown that men choose their future partner based on visual criteria, while women prefer the body odor of a man. But that's not all. Another study, conducted by researchers in psychology at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia, assures that women are more attracted to men who eat large quantities of fruit and vegetables, a diet that they would perceive, in fact, by the smell coming from the sweat of men. According to scientists, women instinctively evaluate a man's ability to eat satisfactorily in order to procreate and obtain healthy children. This is, to say the least, surprising. The sound of the voice is essential in the seduction process for both men and women. But it seems that women are irresistibly attracted to men with deep voices. This is what a team of researchers has proven. Gillian O'Connor, a researcher at McMaster University in Canada, said that signals from the opposite sex are important to women when choosing a partner, and when they are looking for an adventure, they will more spontaneously fall for men with a deep voice. He adds, "The women we interviewed also think that men with deep voices are more likely to cheat and deceive them. That's why they will only be attracted to them when they are looking for a one-night stand. So we have to believe that men with a deep, gravelly voice have every chance of seducing a woman." Now it's your turn to tell us in the comments, which of these criteria you think is essential to seduce a woman? Don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.